Hello, welcome to CKE 10,000 Gaming Channel. In this video, we'll be looking at my Weiss Schwarz Dengeki Bunko 30th Anniversary 8 Standby Deck Profile. This is kind of video number 3, part 3 of 4 Dengeki Bunko 30th Anniversary Deck Profiles. The other two have already been uploaded, which is my 8 Gate Irregular Magic High deck build and my Gate Choice deck build with Strike of Blood and Austin as the finisher. Okay, without further ado, we'll look at the level 0s for this deck. I'm running 4 copies of Anniversary Yukina. 2 effects. The first is a downside. This card cannot side attack. The second is when this card is placed on stage from hand, put the top 2 cards of your deck into your waiting room, and then this card gets plus X power until the end of your opponent's next turn. X equals the number of Dengeki Bunko characters among those cards times 1,000. So on play mill 2, after both characters, it gets plus 2k until the end of opponent's next turn. Help you get your reverses on your turn, and hopefully it'll have enough power to stay alive across turn. And 3 copies of the Innocent Charm Hinata Brainstormer. Has experience if flower that blooms after Rain Tomoko is in your level, and you have another copy of it on the board, all your other characters get plus 500 power. And has an activate Brainstorm. Pay 1, rest this card, flip over 5 cards on top of your deck and put them in your room. If there is a climax with standby trigger icon among those cards, look at top 3 cards from the top of your deck, choose it to 1 card from them, put it in your hand, put the rest into your waiting room. Note, the Brainstorm doesn't plus you more than 1 card because it's not checking for each climax, but rather it checks if there is a standby climax, so it can only plus you 1 card even if you mill multiple climaxes. So you can run this one if you want. I'm just running it because I'm kind of keeping in theme of the 8 standby. You can always swap it up for a different Brainstormer if you don't like it. I'm running 3 copies of Cold Calling Hero Emmy. Has 2 effects. The first is continuous during your turn. This card gets plus 1,000 power. The second effect is a Ricky effect. On play, pay 1, put a Dengeki Bunko from the character from your waiting room to the bottom of the clock, and then search your deck for a 1 or lower. If you notice, there's no level 1s in this deck. It's primarily it's level 0s. You do have a level 2 that comes down at level 1 if you meet its condition. We'll look at that later. But the Ricky just to help you plus. And Peter's Sister Index, running 2 copies of it. The first effect is the Rico effect, and the second effect is it Power Pumps, another Dengeki Bunko character for 1,000 power. And 2 copies of Bond of Deep Affection, Shauna and Wilhelmina. When this card is placed on stage for hand, you look at the top 3 cards of your deck, choose up to 1 event among them, reveal it to your opponent, put it into your hand, put the rest into your waiting room. If you put 1 card from your hand, if you put 1 card into your hand, choose 1 card in your hand and put it into your waiting room. The second is an auto effect. At the beginning of your opponent's attack phase, you may put 1 Dengeki Bunko character from your waiting room to the bottom of the clock. If you do, move this card to an open position of your backstage. So it runs to the back, help you plus, maintain board. 2 copies of Anniversary Makoto. Has a downside, this card cannot side attack, and then the second effect is a climax swap effect. Then running 1 copy of Fireworks Mahao. Has continuous experience during your turn. If flower that blooms after Rain Tomoko is in your level, and you have another flower that blooms after Rain Tomoko on your board, all your other characters get plus 1,000 power. And on climax play, you can bounce this back to your hand if you choose 1 of your characters, and that character gets plus 2,000 power until end turn. I'm running 4 copies of Absolute Queen of Ice Saki. Continuous experience. If you have the flower that blooms after Rain Tomoko in your level, this gets -1 level in your hand, so you can early play it at level 1. When this Sleepless Night is placed in a climax area, if this card is in your center stage, you may choose 1 of your other Dengeki Bunko characters and stand it. So usually your standby target at level 1 is this. Colorful Bud Ari. Continuous experience. A flower that blooms after Rain Tomoko is in your level, and this card is in the middle position of your center stage, this card gets plus 5,000 power, continuous, and has hand encore. There are 3 copies of United Front Ryuji and Taiga. It has 3 effects. The first is if you would pay the cost for Pom Pop Tiger or their own feelings, Minori, Taiga, and Ami in your hand. Amy in your hand, you may put 2 markers from underneath this card in your waiting room instead of 1 card from your stock. So every 2 markers saves you 1 stock. You can put a maximum of 4 markers underneath this card. It has a continuous assist. All your characters in front of this get plus X power. X equals to that character's level times 500. And the third effect is activate restless card. Choose one of your characters to get 2000 power and lunchbox until end of turn. And if the total number of cards in the marker area is 3 or less, you can choose a Dengeki Bunko character in your waiting room and put it face down underneath this card as a marker. Running 1 copy of Anniversary Lena, or Lena. If you have 3 or more other characters, this card gets plus 4 to 500 power and hand encore. And when this card attacks, you can pay 1, pitch 1. If you do, choose up to 3 of your other Dengeki Bunko characters, and those characters could get 500 power and plus 1 soul until end of turn. And then 1 copy of the Cruelty and Fluffy Melon Bread event. If you do not have a Dengeki Bunko or Flame character, you cannot play this card from your hand. But if you can, you choose one of the following effects and perform it. Search deck for a Dengeki Bunko or Flame character, reveal your opponent, put a hand, shuffle your deck, and then you can choose one character to get plus 3000 power and put this card into your stock. So you would choose one of those 2 effects to do it. Then we have a early play change punish backup that kicks it into clock. A 3K memory backup. 2 copies of the Spice and Wolf event. If you have 2 or less Dengeki Bunko characters, this card cannot be played from your hand. But if you can play it, you choose one of your Dengeki Bunko characters, and that character gets plus 1500 power and the following ability until turn. When this card's battle opponent becomes reversed, you may deal 3 damage to your opponent. Basically, dealing 3 on your opponent's turn when their characters get reversed. Then running 4 copies of your finisher. Flower that blooms after rain, Tomoka. So this is kind of your primary card. Has auto experience when this card attacks. If flower that blooms after rain, Tomoka is in your level, put the top 2 cards of your deck in your main room and deal X damage to your opponent. X equals the number of level 2 or higher cards real amongst other cards. And has an auto climax combo at the beginning of your attack phase. If Keishin Girls Basketball Team is in your climax area, this card is in your center stage and your hand has 5 or less cards. Choose one of the following effects and perform it. Stand this card, or you can pay 1, put a climax from the climax area into your waiting room, and if you have 4 or more, you can pay that cost. If you do, deal 3 damage to your opponent. So the earlier you get this, the more ping damage you'll do throughout the game. Then 2 copies of Anniversary Horizon. First effect is it gets 1000 power, and then second effect is on play heal. So you just need some healers in this deck, just in case you need that heal late game. And then running 2 copies of Palm Top Tiger Taiga. During this card's battle, all players cannot play backup from their hands. And the second effect is when the card is placed on stage, you can pay 1. If you do, choose one of the following effects and perform it. Your opponent puts all the cards from their stock into their waiting room, puts all the same number of cards on the top of their deck to their stock, so stock wash, or deal 1 damage to your opponent, and this card gets 2000 power until the end of turn. And have 1 copy of the early play that heals from clock to hand. You could probably maybe try to fit in more of these if you want to. And then running 8 the last 8 cards are the standby climaxes. 4 copies of Sleepless Night, which is your level 2/level 1 climax combo. Combos with that. And 4 copies of Keishin Girls Basketball Team, which combos with your level 3 finisher. Alright, thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Check EncoreDecks.com and the link below to see an overview of this deck build.